Hi guys! Almost a year ago, I uploaded my first video onto this channel as a magical girl content creator, and that was the Delicious Party halfway point review. I thought it was an interesting concept to do rather than a final review or a first thoughts video, to check in right in the middle and see how I like it, predict where it's going, and talk about expectations. And now we have reached the halfway point in Hirogaru Sky Precure. And oh boy, has it been so wonderful. With this being the 20th anniversary, I think we all might have a bit higher expectations than average for this season, and I think it's been living up to them. And I have enjoyed all of the 3 seasons that I've watched of Pretty Cure as I've gotten back into watching Pretty Cure live as it's airing. Yes, that includes Delicious Party. I did enjoy Delicious Party, but I have not felt as invested in the story and as invested in each character as I have with this season, and I'm going to tell you why. Intentional storytelling. Yeah. Hirogaru Sky has been great at making sure that there's continuity with the story in each episode. It's never really correct to call any episode of Pretty Cure filler because that's not really how Pretty Cure operates. But in Hirogaru Sky, every episode has a plot device or an aspect that carries you straight into the next episode. You can't skip an episode because how are you going to know how important Sora's blue necklace is to her and Captain Shalala? How would you know the significance of Elle imitating the Cures in recent episodes if you haven't seen her bonds with each of them grow in small moments over the past 24 episodes? I'm fully invested in the season, and I think I have been from the very start. When the debut of Sora as Cure Sky happened in a way that I've never seen in Pretty Cure before, there was no fairy telling her what to do, how to transform, how to use her powers. No one immediately around Sora knew what a Pretty Cure was, but she still was able to fight and figure it out on her own. And I think this might be what's giving Hirogaru Sky a bit of a leg up. It's thrown a lot of the traditional Pretty Cure formula that we've become accustomed to out of the window. And tradition isn't bad. Like, I'm still excited for the traditional formulas that we get in Pretty Cure. But how fresh is it to see Butterfly debuting so late into the season as a mainline Cure? How fresh is it to see a blue leader, the first male Cure in a Pretty Cure team? Hell, we're halfway into the season and we haven't seen a lick of the mid-season Cure, mid-season at this point. And I love this. I love it. I'm not sure if Pretty Cure is going to continue to do this and take these chances, but with this series being in its 20th year, these changes are more than welcome. World building. You know, not only is the season different for having the first blue lead Cure, but she's also the first main character Cure not of this earth. Skyland has been portrayed as this faraway land among the clouds and only accessed through portals or rifts between their world and the human world. It's very interesting because it has its own cultures and customs. They use birds for travel, they have different architecture in the show. Compared to Japan, it almost looks like medieval European. There are different kinds of people and species and tribes, like Tsubasa coming from the puny bird tribe. Puny? Or puny. And one of my favorite ongoing gags has been the different names they have for their foods, like ball donuts being doll donuts. It very much so reminds me of the different names we have for foods in the world. Like, someone will be like, what do you guys call this? And it'll be a picture of those like frozen ice pops. And then someone from England will be like, you mean you guys don't call these schmoofenfurfer frozen sticks? What's been great is we've managed to see the team in Skyland a number of times so far. I do wish we could see more of Skyland. Maybe I'm being greedy in that. I don't know. I think I'm waiting for the day when a Pretty Cure season takes place completely in another world that isn't Earth, but maybe that's pushing it. I don't know. The world building has been very nicely woven into the construct of these characters because where they come from plays a big part in their personalities and in their goals, which swiftly brings us into characters. You know what I have been saying from the beginning? That this season is giving me found family. These characters are coming from all different walks of life to form this Pretty Cure team, and it has just been so beautiful to me. But let's talk about our heroes one by one, shall we? From the start, I knew that Sora was going to be my favorite character just based on her design and her implied personality. I was like, yes, her. What I've really loved about seeing Sora's growth so far, and I'm just gonna jump right into it, there's never been this cockiness to her. In a season that has this self-aware theme of heroes and heroism, There's not been one moment where Sora's like, yeah, I'm the best hero ever and I'm gonna be the best in the whole world, da 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 da. But that's never been Sora's attitude. She has these big aspirations, but she values studying. She values the training and the taking notes part, acknowledging that she's not yet where she wants to be and then taking the steps to get there. These are reasons why I really love when the main character has these big aspirations, because we get to see that journey and take that journey with them, essentially, because it is very much so a journey. From episode 1, we see that one of the hurdles that Sora must overcome is fear. Fear of getting hurt. Fear of seeing the people that she cares about get hurt. This is a big thing for her, and she doubts her ability to become a hero because of it. That was a huge thing. I hope that we continue to see in future episodes that this fear isn't something that makes her weak, but it's something that makes her a great hero in her own right. Yeah, I love Sora. She's a very good character. She's also very spunky and she barks like a dog. Not this grass. Is that grass? Mashiro! Mashed potatoes. I was almost fooled by Mashiro's character. You know, we get a lot of secondary cures who are more on the quiet and reserved side, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I tend to identify with those cures most often because I myself am on the shy and well, I don't want to say shy, but I'm on the reserved side. But Mashiro has really just blown my expectations of her out of the water. See, usually the human girl is the main character, and we see the story through her lens. Here, it's almost like we're still viewing the story from Mashiro's lens, except instead of being the main character, we're kind of like a little bit on the side. We're taking this in, taking all of this craziness in just the same as Mashiro is. And we also quickly learned that she's not a calm and cool and collected cucumber. She's expressive and she's a bit awkward and just relatable. Her big dilemmas have been not having a set direction or goal in life like the others do, and also not being a strong person. And like 24 episodes in, just seeing that growth in her has been so nice. How she stepped it up without question and told Sora that she doesn't need to fight anymore. The intent of her actions at that point, and how driven by kindness Mashiro is. I don't remember the episode number, but something that stuck with me about Mashiro was her being told that there is strength in kindness. And at its core, her kindness has been interwoven completely in our journey of watching Mashiro grow as a person. Like, no joke, and I know this is just an opinion, but she might be the best character in this season. Like, Sora's my favorite, but Mashiro might be the best written character. Tsubasa. You know, I'm a very sentimental and corny person. So for Pretty Cure's first male cure, I was personally hoping for the works. The villain would have been like, ha, but Precure can't be boys, or something stupid like. And then Tsubasa would transform for the first time and Kabatami would be like, oh, but it can't be. Oh my god, it would have been so corny. That is not what happened at all with Tsubasa's character, and I quickly realized that I was very much so okay with that. Tsubasa has his own goal, and that's to learn how to fly, since the Puni bird tribe gave up their ability to fly in order to transform into people. It's very easy to root for him in this endeavor. He's kind and he looks after Princess Elle. He was teased at home and then he was separated from his family, and his drive to protect is ultimately what launches him into becoming a Precure, being able to soar the skies and partially fulfill his dream. And even with all of this story, it was never even an issue that Tsubasa was a boy. See, I thought that a grand gesture would be a great form of showing the significance of this event. And they're not bad. It's not a bad thing to have a grand gesture in media like that. But there is a certain importance and necessity in treating it with normalcy. It shows that not only is it okay for boys to be cures or like cures or want to be cures, but it shows that there was never anything wrong with it from the start. And I want to mention more about Tsubasa's personality, like how funny he is and how sassy he can be at times, and how sometimes it's like he's the voice of reason among the team. But it was important for me to discuss just how cool his existence is as a character in this show. Ageha has been such a delight of a character to witness in Hirogaru Sky. Of course, we knew when she was introduced that she was going to become Cure Butterfly eventually, but it was so nice how she was involved with the team from the start. It made her integration and eventual transformation into Cure Butterfly that much more impactful and special. Pretty Cure traditionally introduces its main cast in very quick sequence, one episode after the next, but giving Ageha the chance to find her strength and usefulness in the team outside of being a Cure was so natural. And boy, is her spot in the team a needed one. She's the first adult Cure, the first Cure that is 18 in mind and body. Yes, I am saying that because Cure Earth exists. I know it's a loophole, okay? So she does act as that like older sister of the team, but she is very deeply unserious. She is the one who's able to bring up the energy, and she is the one who is able to lift the team up when they're feeling down. And her maturity helps the others approach their problems from a different perspective. And it's funny because Hirogaru Sky is also the first Pretty Cure season where the designated pink Cure is not the leader. Yet Ageha seems to have many of those same traits that you would expect in a pink lead Cure. It's so cool to see this in a non-lead character because it still works. And it's something that I would really like to see them explore more in future seasons. And of course, I can't get by without a little section for Elle. Let me start off by saying that I don't really have any reservations about baby characters in anime. I don't tend to dislike them really. I don't tend to get annoyed by them. I stand by saying that Hana from Doreimani is the best baby character there is, but anyway, Elle is very good. She is a very good baby character. You know, like she's developing her own personality. She's aware of what's going on with the Precure. She acts of her own volition and it's very impressive. I think it's been sweet seeing her bond grow with each character, and it's gonna make it that much sweeter when the inevitable happens. That is the Cure coming, not any other thing, because that sounded really dark for a second. And based on the recent developments from episode 24 and how Elle is basically a Pretty Cure Jesus, it seems like it's going to be a very interesting story, which I've always been curious about and I still am curious about, but I am that much more excited to see how this plays out. I also love that they have not rushed into her mid-season story just for the sake of filling like a mid-season quota or something. I love the fact that the next Cure is a late season one. They haven't done that in a while. I just love how they are changing the formula and integrating old ones as well. It's so cool to see in this season. Now, there are some characters that I have not spoken about yet, which brings us to our next section, which is what I'd like to see more of. The villains. I've really enjoyed the villains so far. Kabaton was a great one, and even when I was kind of doubting Batamonda, he kind of stepped up in his evilness. I liked his story, basically. He became a good villain in my eyes. I just look forward to seeing more of the Underg Empire, really. I hope they don't wait too much longer in diving into that, but I do want to trust the writers because everything else has been so stellar so far. I hope to see more of Berry Berry. She was a very cool integration into Sora's story, being this rival character, and I kind of wish that they'd utilize more of that rivals friends dynamic between the two of them. Part of me was thinking, wow, it would be so cool if she were the mid-season Cure, but then all of me knows that that's not going to happen. You know what? You know what's a side note that I'm very appreciative of this season? So little of Hirogaru Sky has taken place at school. Pretty Cure has this thing where like the main location or like the second to main location is the school, but that hasn't been the case for Hirogaru Sky, and I'm glad for that actually. Of course, it's implied that they're attending school, but we don't get a lot of those episodes like, oh, we're going to school today. So that's cool is what I'm saying. I want to see more of Yo-Yo in action. I want to see more of Elle, which of course we have just started to get into. It's very exciting. And I'm just so looking forward to the second half of Hirogaru Sky. I know sometimes you can speak too soon with Pretty Cure and the third quarter can end up being excruciatingly slow, but I was hopeful before the season started and they have delivered beyond my expectations. And with the next Cure debut likely being in this third quarter, we might be avoiding that whole slowdown completely. So I'm still full of hope and expectation, and it feels really good. You know, it feels really good to be enjoying a Pretty Cure season this much. I love this season so much so far. I'm 100% ready to put it underneath Heartcatch and Go Princess on my favorites list. It has just been a great and emotional ride thus far. Tell me what your thoughts are so far. Do you have high expectations for the rest of the season? There's so much more Pretty Cure to look forward to aside from Hirogaru Sky. We have Otona, and we have the All-Stars movie coming out in a few months. We've been getting pictures of it and everything in the trailer. It's a really fun and a very beautiful time right now. I also want to thank you guys for being here and subbing to my channel. By the time this video comes out, it'll be January. Oh my god. By the time this video comes out, it'll be July 22nd. My formal anniversary for making videos like this is July 24th. Everyone has just been so kind and so welcoming, and I have been overwhelmed from the start. I've never experienced an online community like this, so I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I do have another way of thanking you that I have planned, but I can't really announce it until August because it's not set in stone yet until what I need is here, which won't be here until August. So, but if you like collecting magical girl stuff, you might be excited for this next thing coming in August, but that's not until August. But anyway, that is all I have for this video, and I will see you in the next one, and stay gravy, baby. This is my book, by the way. This is what I write things in. I'm already halfway through it, which is very... But here... what?